You're watching News 9's Crime Special with me, Deepak. Devanahalli witnessed a brutal murder this Tuesday. Love and heartbreak were the motives for the murder. But what happened that these two lovers fell apart? Was the thrill of love worth the murder? Take a look to find out.
Devanahalli. This booming area on the outskirts of Bengaluru is a favorite hangout spot for many Bengalurians looking to get away from the hustle and bustle of the city. A favorite spot among the many lovers who go here for a romantic drive to watch the beautiful sunrise. But the locals living here, they witnessed a brutal murder. Yes, look at this woman. She was found dead on the 12th of November. We have blurred the visuals here because they are too gory in nature. But we can tell you for a fact that whoever killed her had a grouse on her. But before we tell you what happened that day and who killed her, let us introduce her to you. This is Anjali. Anjali is a resident of Linganahalli in Devanahalli. Her home is just an hour's walk from the famous Nandi Hills. Anjali was a young woman who had just finished her second PUC 2 years back. Her parents had discontinued her education so they could get her married. Though Anjali's family lived quite close to Bengaluru, the society they lived in was quite regressive. Yes, for the elders of this village, a woman pursuing higher education was quite unheard of. They expect their daughters to get married soon after finishing school. Anjali too was slated to get married to this man. He is in tears because he has just found out that Anjali has been murdered. So what exactly happened on the 12th of November? Anjali's family owns a flock of sheep. Rearing the sheep provides them a livelihood. Usually, Anjali's brother takes out the sheep for grazing. But that fateful day, Anjali offered to take the sheep out to graze. Her brother agreed and returned home. He took rest, had lunch, and went back to the grazing ground. But he was surprised to see that Anjali was not around. The sheep had been left to fend for themselves. He looked for Anjali and called out to her, but there was no response. He assumed that she must have gone back home due to some emergency. He took the sheep back home and asked his mother if Anjali had returned. But she hadn't. That was worrisome. It was already around 3:30 p.m. and the sun was still out, but it was going to get dark in a few hours. And the isolated farms here could be unsafe for a young woman. So the brother rushed out to the grazing ground in search of Anjali. This time he noticed that her slippers were lying around. Now he grew more frantic. It was closer to sunset, so he called some of his friends to help him look for her. They searched for some time and found her, or rather her body. Anjali was dead. She was lying in a pool of her own blood. From what they could see, it was clear that someone had slashed her throat.
ಹುಡುಗಿ ಹೆಸರು ಅಂಜು. ಇಲ್ಲಿ ತೊಮ್ಮ ಕುರಿ ಮೇಯಿಸ್ತಾ ಇದ್ದ. ಬಂದು ಊಟಕ್ಕೆ ಕಳ್ಸವ್ರೆ 10:30 ತಿರ್ಗಿ ಮತ್ತೆ 11:00 ತೊಮ್ಮ ಬಂದು ಹುಡುಕ್ಲಾಡಾನೆ, ಕಾಣಿಸಿಲ್ಲ. ಚೊಪ್ಲಿ ಬಿಲ್ ಬಿದ್ದಾವೆ ಮತ್ತು ಛತ್ರಿ ಎಲ್ಲ ಕಾಳದಲ್ಲಿ ಬಿದ್ದಾವೆ. ಹುಡುಕ್ಲಾಡನೆ ಮತ್ತೆ ತೊಮ್ಮನೇ ನೋಡ್ಕೊಂಡಿರೋದು ಫಸ್ಟು. ಆಮೇಲೆ ನಮ್ಮ ಅಣ್ಣ ಬಂದು ನನಗೆ ಫೋನ್ ಮಾಡಿ ನಾವು ಬಂದಿದ್ವಿ.
The family alerted the cops immediately. The cops rushed to the spot too. They came along with the dog squad and a forensic team, but they could find no clues. By now, it was clear that Anjali was murdered. She had been taken to a secluded spot by someone who knew her. She had then been killed. The cops knew this was a murder. They had to question the family so that they could get clues and get cracking on the case. The cops knew the next 48 hours would be crucial to nab the killer. So they proceeded to ask the family who they suspected, even though they were still in grief. At first, the family could think of nothing much to tell them.
ಇನ್ನು ಮದುವೆ ಫಿಕ್ಸ್ ಆಗಿ ಆಗಲೇ ಒಂದು ತಿಂಗಳಾಯಿತು. ಮುಂದಿನ ತಿಂಗಳಲ್ಲಿ ಮದುವೆ ಇದ್ವಿ. ಅಷ್ಟರಲ್ಲಿ ಈ ಥರ ಆಯಿತು.
But eventually, Anjali's brother recalled a strange incident that had taken place the day before. Anjali had received a call from a man. He had asked Anjali to marry him. But Anjali told him that her parents had already fixed her marriage with another man and that she did not want to see him. Before we tell you more about what happened, let us tell you about Anjali's love story. Anjali was in the second PU when she met a man named Mahesh. Mahesh was from the same village and knew some of Anjali's classmates. That is how they met each other. Mahesh had fallen for Anjali the minute he saw her. Anjali had more freedom than she ever had before. It was common for her to bunk classes and go out with her friends. One among them was Mahesh. Anjali enjoyed Mahesh's company. She never had so much freedom before, and she wanted to explore the world just like any other youngster. But what she didn't know was that Mahesh had fallen for her. She thought he was just a good friend. But Mahesh waited for the perfect opportunity, and when he saw it, he proposed to her. He told her that he loved her and wanted to live with her forever. Anjali was taken aback. She knew her family would never approve of their alliance because they were too young, but mostly because they were from different communities. Mahesh convinced her that they had a lot of time to build their lives together and then tell their parents. Anjali was convinced with Mahesh's argument. Mahesh charmed Anjali and eventually won her heart. Anjali would bunk classes and go out on dates with Mahesh. Mahesh would take her out to fields, take her to secluded places, and their romance was on. Everyone in their friend circle knew about it, but Anjali kept her relationship a secret from her family. But when her PU college term was over, she was shocked to know that her parents planned to discontinue her education. At first, Anjali did not bother because academics wasn't her cup of tea. But soon Anjali realized that she had lost her freedom too. There was no way for her to meet Mahesh, but she managed to meet him when she took the sheep out to graze. On one such occasion, her brother had seen her with Mahesh. He had tried to counsel her, but he realized that she was smitten by Mahesh. So he went and told his family about it. Her family grounded her for a few weeks. But eventually they realized that they couldn't keep her locked up forever. So they decided to get her married to another man. Before Anjali could realize what was happening, her marriage had been fixed. Given the conservative atmosphere they lived in, Anjali had no choice but to accept the decision her parents had taken on her behalf. Anjali decided not to protest and agreed. Now she had to break the news to Mahesh. But Mahesh wasn't going to accept his fate without a fight. He insisted that Anjali elope with him, but Anjali knew that Mahesh wasn't well off, neither was he responsible enough to take care of her. She knew he was her teenage love and nothing more. She tried to avoid Mahesh, but he kept showing up near her house. She had tried explaining to him several times that it wouldn't work out. On the 12th of November, Mahesh had called Anjali out again. This was going to be his last-ditch attempt to convince her. But when he realized he had failed to charm her the second time, he was furious. Mahesh had come prepared. If Anjali was to reject him again, he was going to kill her. And that is exactly what he did when she came out to meet him under the excuse of grazing the family sheep. He pulled out a butter knife that he had brought with him. He held Anjali and slashed her throat. It all happened too fast for Anjali to even fight back. In no time, she bled to death.
ಸರ್ ಏನಂತ ಗೊತ್ತಿಲ್ಲ, ಕುರಿ ಮೇಸಕ್ಕೆ ಬಂದಿದ್ರಂತೆ. ಮತ್ತು ಅವ್ರ ತಮ್ಮನ ಊಟಕ್ಕೆ ಕಳಿಸ್ಬಿಟ್ಟು ಈ ಹುಡುಗಿ ಏನೋ ಕುರಿ ಮೇಯ್ತಾ ಇದ್ದಂತೆ. ಕುರಿ ಮೇಯ್ತಾ ಇದ್ದಾಗ ಬಟ್ ತಮ್ಮ ಊಟಕ್ಕೆ ಕಳಿಸ್ಬಿಟ್ಟು ಹುಡುಗಿ ಕುರಿ ಮೇಯ್ತಾ ಇದ್ದಾಳೆ. ಬಟ್ ತಮ್ಮ ಊಟ ಮಾಡ್ಕೊಂಡು ಮನೆಯೊಳಗಡೆ ಬರೋದ್ರೊಳಗಡೆ ಬಟ್ ಇಲ್ಲಿ ಚಪ್ಪಲಿ ಇಲ್ಲ ಒಂದು ಕಡೆ ಬಿದ್ದಿತ್ತಂತೆ. ಆಮೇಲೆ ಹೋಗಿ ಏನೋ ಅಲ್ಲೆಲ್ಲ ಹುಡ್ಕಾಡಿದಾಗ ಏನೋ ಅಕ್ಕ ಇಲ್ಲ ಅಂದ್ಬಿಟ್ಟು ಹುಡ್ಕಾಡಿದಾಗ ಕುರಿಗಳು ಒಂದು ಕಡೆ ಇತ್ತಂತೆ. ಈ ಹುಡುಗಿ ಎಲ್ಲ ಕಾಲಲ್ಲಿ ಕಾಣಿಸ್ತಂತೆ. ಅವಾಗ ಹೋಗಿ ಹುಡುಗ ನೋಡಿರೋದಲ್ಲಿ ನೋಡಿ ಬಡ್ಕೊಂಡು ಊರವರೆಲ್ಲ ಮತ್ತೆ ಇಲ್ಲಿ ಬಂದಿರೋದು.
When the cops came to the crime scene and questioned the family, it was her brother who told them about Mahesh. The cops suspected that Mahesh was the killer. They went to his house to pick him up but realized that he was absconding. Now they were convinced that he was the killer. So they formed a special team to nab him and got him. Mahesh was caught in the neighboring village. He confessed that he killed Anjali. When Anjali's family found out about it, they were shocked. But there's nothing they can do about it. All they can do is hope that they will get justice for the murder of their daughter.
ಅವ್ರಿಗ ನನ್ನ ಮಗನ ಜೀವನ ಪೂರ್ತಿ ಇನ್ನು ಬೆಣ್ಣು ಮಕ್ಕಳನ್ನ ನನ್ನ ಮಕ್ಕಳನ್ನಾಗಲಿ ಆ ಥರ ಮಾಡ್ಕೊಡ್ದಂಗೆ ಮಾಡಬೇಕು. ಅವನ ಲೈಫ್ ಹಾಳು ಮಾಡ್ದಂಗೆ ನನ್ನ ಮಕ್ಕಳ ಲೈಫ್ ಹಾಳು ಮಾಡಬೇಕು.
If only Anjali had been careful about whom she forged relationship with, she may have still been alive today, and Mahesh would not have ruined his life. Teenage romances could be heady, but a few are destined to last. Anjali realized it, but Mahesh couldn't reconcile. If only the two families had been aware of what was happening, Anjali could have been alive and the obsessive Mahesh could have remained out of jail. Naveen for News 9, Devanahalli.
In the first part of our special episode, we saw how one man killed his young girlfriend. But we can tell you for a fact that this story is more sensational. Take a look to find out what we are talking about. Gadag is a quiet district in the northern part of Karnataka. The district is known for its many forts and caves. But lately, Gadag has been witnessing an increase in crime. This story is, however, different on many levels. We can assume that you have never seen a story like this. But before we tell you more about this story, let us introduce the main characters. Look at this woman. This is Yellamma, a resident of Hirehalli. She was married to Veeranagowda about 11 years back. Veeranagowda lived with his brothers and they cultivated their family farm together. But after the couple bore 3 children, Yellamma insisted that they move out of the small house that they lived in and started building their own house. Veeranagowda did not want to leave his brothers and his father, but he was a good man and heeded to the wishes of his wife. He moved out along with his wife and 3 children. His family even gave him a separate piece of land to start their new life. Eventually, Veeranagowda and his family drifted apart.
ಇಬ್ಬರು ಸಸಿನ ಮಗನ ಚೆಂದಾಗಿದ್ರಿ ಅಂಥೇಳಿ ಬೇರೆ ಮಾಡ್ಕೊಂಡು ತಿನ್ನಲವ್ರು ಅಂಥೇಳಿ ನಾವು ಹಾಕಿ ಬೇರೆ ಹೋಗ್ತೀನಿ ಅಂದೆ. ಹೋಗಪ್ಪ ಆಗ್ರ ಹೋಗಿ 4 ಎಕರೆ ಹೊಲ ಕೈ ಬಿಡವ್ರಿಗೆ ಉಣ್ಲಿ. ಇವರು ಬರೀ 1.5 ಎಕರೆ ತೊಂದಾರ್ರಿ. ನಾವು ಗಂಡ ಹೆಂಡ್ತಿ ನಾವು 1.5 ಎಕರೆದಾಗ ಜೀವನ ಸಾಗಿಸ್ತೀವಪ್ಪ, ನೀವು 4 ಎಕರೆನೂ ನೀನು ಉಣ್ಣಪ್ಪ ಅಂತ ಕೈ ಬಿಟ್ರಿ. ಹುಡುಗನೂ ಒಳ್ಳೆಯವ, ತಂದೆನೂ ಒಳ್ಳೆಯವ. ಆದ್ರೆ ಅವ್ರು ಎಲ್ಲಿ ಹೋಗ್ತಾರೆ ಎಲ್ಲಿ ಬರ್ತಾರೆ ಅಂತ ಬಾಡಿಗೆ ಮನೆಗೆ ಇದ್ಮ್ಯಾಗ ಅವ್ರ ಮನೆಗೆ ಇವ್ರ ಮನೆಗೆ ದೂರ ಆಗುತ್ತೆ.
Yellama and her husband lived on this small piece of land. Yellama thought she would be happy after they had moved out separately. But then she realized that she had to take care of the kids all by herself. She then realized that her husband would be more busy. She did not like her new life. She had too many responsibilities and no time for herself. Her husband would come home drunk every day and pass out. There was no time for them to spend. They did not have the energy either. They were just going through the motions of life. But eventually the children grew older. They went to school and Yellama had more time. Now she wanted to compensate for all the years she had lost out on. She wanted a zing of freshness. She wanted to relive her youth. She wanted romance and a man to warm her bed. And she found it. No, it wasn't her husband, but another man. A younger, stronger, and more loving man. He gave Yellama everything she craved for. He made her feel alive again. This is Shankara Gowda. Shankara Gowda was a KSRTC bus driver. He worked hard and was quite good looking too. He went to several tourist destinations and dreamt of going back there with his own lover. So, he was on the lookout for the perfect woman, and his dreams were fulfilled when he looked at Yellama for the first time. They both knew they were meant to be as soon as they saw each other. Shankara Gowda was a confident young man. He approached Yellama and introduced himself. He could see the spark in her eyes and realized that he could win her heart. Yellama was looking for something extra from life as well. So, their meeting was the perfect solution for both of them. While Veerana Gowda went to the farm to toil and support his family, his wife romanced the new flame in her life. Shankara Gowda promised to take Yellama to places she had never been before. Yellama's desires peaked after she met Shankara Gowda. But one thing the couple did not notice was that the people had observed the two of them on their honeymoon. One look at the two of them and it wasn't hard to realize that they were in love. Eventually, the couple realized that they had to keep their relationship low-key. So, they met discreetly. They met in Yellama's house. They locked themselves up the whole day where no one could see them. But on one occasion, Veerana Gowda had come home early. He noticed that Yellama was in the house with another man. We have shown you several stories where this was the plot for a murder. But that is where this story is different. Veerana Gowda knew that the spark was out of his marriage. So, he did not try to harm either one of them. He understood that Yellama had needs that he could not meet. But he was worried about what the society would say. He counseled Yellama and told her that what she was doing was wrong. But Yellama wasn't convinced, though she nodded her head and agreed to whatever her husband said. Yellama was in a tough spot. She had fallen head over heels for the new man in her life. Shankara Gowda had fallen for her too. But when he realized that Yellama may not come back to him fearing society, he decided to get married to another woman. But like they say, love never dies. This couple too secretly held on to the memories and feelings they had for each other. If only they could express their feelings openly, Gadag probably wouldn't have witnessed 2 suicides. Yes, the people of Gadag were witness to 2 suicides. Just look at these 2 people hanging from the tree. Who do you think they are? Well, it is Shankara Gowda and his lover Yellama. We have blurred the visuals here, but we can tell you for sure that Yellama and Shankara Gowda had got married before they committed suicide. Yes, look at her nuptial chain and the other one tied by Shankara Gowda. It seems like Yellama tried to send a message to Gadag by doing this. But what happened on that fateful day? Yellama had left home on Friday morning. She had told her husband that she was going to the farm. He waited for her to return, but she did not. So he went in search of her. When he couldn't find her, he told his father.
ಆಕೆ ನಿನ್ನೆ 6 ಗಂಟೆಗೆ ತುಂಬ್ತಂದು ಹೋಗ್ತೀನಂತ ಹೋಗ್ಯಾಳ್ರಿ 6 ಗಂಟೆಗೆ ರೀ 6 ಗಂಟೆಗೆ ತುಂಬ್ತಂದು ಹೋಗ್ತೀನಂತ ಹೋಗ್ಯಾಳ್ರಿ ಹೊಳ್ಳಿ ಒಂದು 2 ತಾಸು ಆತು ಈಗ ಹೊಳ್ಳಿ ಮನೆಗೆ ಬಂದಿಲ್ಲ ರೀ ನಮ್ಮ ಮಗ ಬಂದು ಮನೆಗೆ ಬೇರೆ ಅದನ್ರಿ ಮಗ ಹಿಂಗಪ್ಪ ತುಂಬ್ತಂದು ಹೋದಾಕಿ 2 ತಾಸು ಆತು ಬಂದೇ ಇಲ್ಲ ಅಂತಂದ ಅವ್ರು ಹೊಲಗಿಲ್ಲಕ್ಕೆ ಹೋಗ್ಯಾಳೆ ಹಂಗೆ ಹೊಲ್ದಾಗ ಹೋಗಿ ನೋಡ್ಕೊಂಬ ಅಡ್ಡಾಡಿ ಅಂದ್ರಿ ಸೈಕಲ್ ತೊಗೊಂಡು ನೋಡ್ಕೊಂಬಂದ್ರಿ ಹೊಲ್ದಾಗ ಎಲ್ಲಿ ಅಪ್ಪ ಅಂದ್ರೆ ಹೊಳ್ಳಿ ಮತ್ತೆ ನಾ ಸ್ವತಃ ಹೋದೀನಿ ರೀ ಹೊಲಕ್ಕೆ ನಾನು ಹೋಗಿ ಅಡ್ಡಾಡಿ ನೋಡ್ಕೊಂಬಂದೆ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಹೊಲ್ದಾಗೂ ಇದ್ದಿಲ್ಲ ಹೊಳ್ಳಿ ಮತ್ತೆ ಮಗನ ಕಳಿಸಿದ್ದು ಹೋಗು ಅವ್ರವ್ರ ಅಪ್ಪಗೆ ಹೇಳು ಹಿಂಗೆ ಮತ್ತೆ 6 ಗಂಟೆಗೆ ತುಂಬ್ತಂದು ಹೋಗ್ತೀನಂತ ಹೋದಕ್ಕೆ ಬಂದಿಲ್ಲವ ಇಲ್ಲಿ ಬಂದಾಳನ ಅಂತ ಕೇಳು ಅಂದು ಹೋಗಿ ಕೇಳನ್ರಿ ಇಲ್ಲಪ್ಪ ಇಲ್ಲಿ ಬಂದಿಲ್ಲ ಅಂದ್ರೆ ಅವ್ರವ್ರು.
They assumed that she must have gone to meet her parents, so they went to her house.
ಮತ್ತು 5 ಗಂಟೆಗೆ ನಾ ಹೋದೆ ಹೋಗಿ ಅವ್ರವ್ಗೆ ಹೇಳಿದೆ ನೋಡುವ ಮುಂಜಾನೆ 6 ಗಂಟೆಗೆ ತುಂಬ್ತಂದು ಹೋಗ್ಯಾಳ ಹೋದಕ್ಕೆ ಹೊಳ್ಳಿ ಬಂದಿಲ್ಲ ನಾವು ಹೊಲ ಮನೆ ಊರಾಗೆಲ್ಲ ಹುಡುಕ್ಯಾಡ್ವಿ ಎಲ್ಲಿ ಇಲ್ಲ ಮತ್ತು ಇಲ್ಲಾರು ಬಂದಾಳನು ಅಂತ ಅವ್ರ ತಾಯಿ ಕೇಳಿದ್ರಿ ಇಲ್ರಿ ಕಾಕಾರ ಇಲ್ಲಿ ಬಂದೇ ಇಲ್ಲ ಅಂತ ಅಂದರು ನೋಡ್ರಿ ಇವತ್ತು ಮುಂಜಾನೆ ಇವರು ಊರ್ಲಿ ಹಾಕ್ಕೊಂಡು 10 ಗಂಟೆಗೆ ನಮಗೆ ಮನೆಗೆ ನಿನ್ನೆ 6 ಗಂಟೆಗೆ ಹೋಗ್ಯಾಡ್ರಿ ಮನೆ ಬಿಟ್ಟು ಏನಾಯ್ತಂದ್ರೆ ಅವ್ರವ್ರಿಗೆ ಹ್ಯಾಂಗೆ ಹೇಳ್ಬೇಕ್ರಿ ನಾವು.
But soon enough, some men came to Veeranagowda and told him what he dreaded to hear. They told him that his wife was found hanging in another farm. It was only when he went to the farm did he see her lover hanging with her. By then, the cops were also called to the scene. Shankaragowda's family had heard of the news and come to the spot as well.
ಅದು ಬಂದರು ಆಮೇಲೆ ಬೆಳಗ್ಗೆ ಬಂದು 7:30 ನೋಡಿದೆ ನೋಡಿ ಆಮೇಲೆ ನಮ್ಮ ಮಾಮ ತಿಳಿಸಿ ಮುಗಿದೆಲ್ಲ ಪೊಲೀಸರು ತಿಳಿಸ್ರಿ ಅಂತ ಹೇಳಿದ್ರು. ಮ್ಯಾರೇಜ್ ಫಿಕ್ಸ್ ಆಗಿದೆ ಸರ್. ನಾ ಈಗ ಬರೋ 27 ಸರ್ ಇದವ್ರಾಗ ಶರ್ಮೇಶ್ವರ ಕಲ್ಯಾಣ ಮಾಡೋದಾಗ ಮಾಡ್ಬೇಕು ಎಲ್ಲ ನಡೀತು ಸರ್. ಅದೇನೋ ಗೊತ್ತಿಲ್ಲ ಸರ್ ನಂಗೆ.
Both families were inconsolable, as you can imagine. Everyone wondered why the two strangers were hanging together. Veeranagowda was the only one who knew the truth.
ಹೆಂಗೆ ಹೇಳ್ಬೇಕು ರೀ ಅದು ಹೆಂಗೆ ಹೇಳ್ಬೇಕು ನಾವು ಒಂದು ದುಡುವಾರ್ರಿ ನಾವು ಬರೀ ಹೊಲ ಮನೆ ಬಂದ್ರೆ ಒಂದೇ ಮಗಳಂತ ಬರ್ತೀವಿ ಹೋಗಿದ್ವಿ ನಮಗೆ ಯಾವುದೂ ಗೊತ್ತಿಲ್ಲ ರೀ ನನ್ನ ಮಕ್ಳಿಗೆ ಗೊತ್ತಿಲ್ಲ. ಅವರು ಏನೂ ಹೇಳಿರ್ಬಿಡ್ರಿ ಅವ್ರಿಗೆ ಗೊತ್ತದು ಅವ್ರಿಗೆ ಗೊತ್ತು ನಮಗೆ ಗೊತ್ತಾಗ್ಬೇಕು ರೀ ಏನೂ ಇಲ್ಲ ಬಿಡ್ರಿ.
The cops had to ask the families about each of their whereabouts to establish a time of death. They realized that it must have happened after 6 a.m. as that was the time Yellama had left home. But even before that, Shankaragowda had messaged his brother about where he would be going.
ನಿನ್ನೆ ಬೆಳಗ್ಗೆ 4 ಗಂಟೆಗೆ ಹೋದ್ರು ಸರ್. ಬೆಳಗ್ಗೆ 4 ಗಂಟೆಗೆ ಹೋದ್ರು ಒಂದು ಮೆಸೇಜ್ ಬಿಟ್ಟರು. ಆ ಮೆಸೇಜಿಂದ ನೋಡಿದ್ವಿ ಹೊಳ್ಳಿ ಕಟ್ಟ ಹಿಂಗೆ ಸಾರಿ ತಂಗಿ ಅವರು ಗಾಡಿ ಬೈಕಿಂದ ನಿಂತಂದರು ಏನೋ ಅದ್ರ ಮ್ಯಾಗ ತಮ್ಮ ನೌಕರಿ ಮಾಡ್ತಾರಲ್ಲ ಅದ್ರ ಮ್ಯಾಗ ಇನ್ಶೂರೆನ್ಸ್ ಪಾಸ್ಬುಕ್ ಅವೆಲ್ಲ KGN ಕಡೆ ಅದಾವು. ಹೊಳ್ಳಿ ನಮ್ಮ ಮಾಮರಿಗೆ 11,000 ಕೊಡ್ಬೇಕಂತ ಇಷ್ಟ ಮೆಸೇಜ್ ಬಿಟ್ಟಿದ್ದು ಮತ್ತೇನು ಬಿಟ್ಟಿಲ್ಲ. ಹೊಳ್ಳಿ ಇವತ್ತು ಬೆಳಗ್ಗೆ ಮತ್ತೆ 4 ಗಂಟೆಗೆ ಹಿಂಗೆ ನಾನು ಬಸವೇಶ್ವರ ಹೊಲ್ದಾಗಿದ್ದೀನಿ ಅಂತಂದು ಇಷ್ಟು ಸುದ್ದಿ ಸರ್. ಇವತ್ತು 4 ಗಂಟೆಗೆ ಮತ್ತೆ ಬಸವೇಶ್ವರ ನಾನು ಬಸವೇಶ್ವರ ಹೊಲ್ದಾಗಿದ್ದೀನಿ ಅಂತಂದು ಇಷ್ಟ ಹೇಳಿ ಸರ್ ಅಷ್ಟೇ ಸರ್ ಮತ್ತೇನಿಲ್ಲ.
It was clear from this that Shankaragowda's family knew nothing about his affair with Yellama. He would tell his mother that he was going on duty when he went out to meet Yellama.
ಇದಕ್ಕೆ ಡ್ಯೂಟಿಗೆ ಹೋಗ್ಯಾನಂತ ಹೋಗ್ಯಾನ್ರಿ ಹ್ಞೂ ಡ್ಯೂಟಿಗಂತೂ ಅದಾವ ದಿನ ಮತ್ತು ಪನ್ಸಿಗೆ ಹೋಗಿದ್ದೀನಿ ರೀ 3 ದಿನಕ್ಕೊಂದು ಬರ್ತಿದ್ದೀನಿ ರೀ. ನಾ ಫೋನ್ ಹಚ್ಚಿದ್ರೆ ನಾ ಡ್ರೈನಿಂಗ್ ಮಾಡ್ತೀನವ ನೀನು ಫೋನ್ ಹಚ್ಬೇಡ ನಾ ಎತ್ತಾಗಾರ ಹೋಗಿ ಮಂದಿಗೆ ಇಟ್ಗಿಟ್ಟೇನು ಬೇಡ ಅಂತ ಹಚ್ಚಿಸ್ಕೊಡ್ತಿದ್ದೆ ಅಲ್ರಿ. ಒಳ್ಳೆ ಬಂದಿಂದ ಏನಿದ್ರು ತಾಯಿ ಮಗನ ಮಾತಾಡ್ತಿದ್ವಿ ಮಾತಾಡಿ ಕಾಟ ಡ್ಯೂಟಿಗೆ ಹೋದಾವ ನಾವು ಫೋನ್ ಹಚ್ಚತ್ತಿದ್ದಿಲ್ಲ ರೀ 3 ದಿನಕ್ಕೊಂದು ಬರ್ತಿದ್ದೀನಿ ರೀ.
It was only when Veeranagowda narrated the tale of his wife and her lover that everyone in the village found out. They were all shocked. It must have pricked the conscience of the people that 2 lovers died because their society was too blinded to let the 2 lovers live together. If only these 2 had fought society's norms, Yellama's 3 children wouldn't have been orphans. While it is hard for children to grow up with separated parents, it would have still been better than living with a single parent.
3 ಮಕ್ಕಳು 3 ಹೆಣ್ಣುಡ್ರ ರೀ. ಒಂದು ಹುಡುಗಿ ಹೆಸರು ವಿದ್ಯಾ ರೀ ಅದು ಅಲ್ಲೇ ಅವ್ರ ಅಜ್ಜಮ್ಮನ ಮನೆ ರೂಮ್ದಾಗ ಐತ್ರಿ ಅಲ್ಲೇ ಸಾಲಿಗೆ ಕಲಿತೈತ್ರಿ. ಆಸೆ ಕಿರಣ ಕಚ್ಚಿವ್ರಿ ಆ ಹುಡುಗಿನ. ಎರಡನೇ ಹುಡುಗಿ ಸಣ್ಣ ಹುಡುಗಿ ಇವ್ರ ಹತ್ರ ಇದ್ವು. ಎರಡನೇದಕ್ಕೆ ಶ್ರಾವಣಿ ರೀ, ಮೂರನೇದಕ್ಕೆ ಸನ್ನಿಧಿ. ಇವ್ರ ಹತ್ರ ಇದ್ವು. ಹಿರಿಯ ಹುಡುಗಿ ಒಂದು ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಅವ್ರ ಅಜ್ಜಮ್ಮನ ಮನೆಗೆ ಐತ್ರಿ.
While we saw a lover kill his young girlfriend in Devanahalli, two lovers here sacrificed their own lives when their love couldn't bear fruit. Love certainly is a thrill at first, but these two stories are proof that sometimes love can indeed kill. Sanjeev Pandre for News 9, Gadag.